empty this. Wow, that's amazing. Look how, that's literally black. That is so black. That is amazing. Hey guys, welcome back to Once Upon a Tiny Farm. My name's Drew. In today's video, I want to do a little update on my worm bin that I made last year sometime, and tell you how it worked out. So I ended up making worm castings. This is very dark. It definitely didn't look like this when I first put everything in there. However, even though I did make some worm castings in there, this is like really like black gold looking stuff. The problem is this system that I did, I have this white bin inside of this red bin, and this white bin has lots of holes in it, and I think the holes I made too big. And I think what ended up happening over time is a lot of the worms went down through those holes into the bottom, and in the bottom is where I wanted to get some of that worm juice to use to fertilize my garden. And I think a lot of the worms died because they went through those holes. And the reason the holes were so big is because I used this for another project. I tried to do a mushroom bucket a couple of years ago, and that's what this bucket's from. So I just tried to reuse that. But so I don't have any worms in here right now. I think I killed them over sometime last year, but it's not without making some black gold. So I did make some worm castings here, which is really cool. But I think I figured out a way, real easy way to fix this problem. And I think what I'm going to do is take this bucket out of this red bucket, and I'm gonna add a third bucket here, and I'm gonna put another, this bucket with the big holes is gonna be the top bucket. So since this one already has some big holes in it, it will allow the worms to travel down into that second bucket. And the second bucket is, I'm going to put some very small pilot holes so that the juices can drain into the bottom, so I can get that liquid for compost and for the gardens. But these big holes will allow the worms to go back and forth between the second bucket and the top bucket, and hopefully the worms won't fall down into the bottom bucket. If they do, that's just what happens. But that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna empty this out. Right here, I'm on top of this cardboard because I'm actually gonna be making a new garden space here, and I'm just gonna be putting compost right on top of this cardboard. So this worm castings will be the first inoculant here. To empty this. Wow, that's amazing. Look how, that's literally black. That is so black. That is amazing. So the worms must have stayed alive enough to eat everything, all the food that was in there, to create this black worm casting compost for me. That is so cool. All right. Now, I just need to get this bucket out of this bucket. For some reason, I've had a hard time trying to separate this bucket. It's like sucked into this bucket, and I don't want to break it. So I'm gonna pause the video and try to wrestle with this so I can pull this thing out. So be right back. All right, we're back. I got those buckets separated, and I have a new bucket here that I'm going to drill some very small holes in the bottom just for the drainage of the liquid. And I'm using, I think this is a 1/16 size drill bit. This is the smallest one I got. Just got a new set from DeWalt. Really nice stuff. So that's what I'm just gonna do a couple small holes. So there we go. Got some tiny holes in there. I'm gonna get any of that plastic stuff out. So very tiny holes. I could barely see them. The red wigglers that I use for the worm bucket, they're very tiny and skinny, but I don't think they're tiny enough to fit through that, so hopefully not. So here's my new plan here. bottom bucket, this bucket with some very, very small holes drilled into it, and then this bucket with the big holes on the top. So the way this should work is the first bucket that I will be getting the worm castings from will be from this bottom bucket, and as that one is done and all the food is consumed and they turn it into this kind of worm castings, they should move up through those big holes looking for more food, and I'll keep filling this top bucket with more food scraps and things like that for them to eat and consume and poop, and then they'll just work out of this top bucket. And then once I empty this bottom bucket, I'll refill that bottom bucket as well with more food scraps and stuff like that, and they'll just keep moving up and down through this through these buckets and keep consuming and creating awesome black gold worm castings. I can't believe I actually made this stuff. I just wish I had some worms left in here. So I'm not going to I'm not planning to fill up these buckets right now because, one, it's still a little cold and I don't have worms right now. I'm gonna wait on the worms because I think that was another problem I had with these, is that I ordered worms a little early around this time last year. I think it was February, and we got some really freezing temperatures, and that's not good for the young baby worms. So I'm gonna wait till maybe April. I'm gonna fill this up again. I did a video, my previous video I explained the process of how you're supposed to fill this up properly. I used the blog post, I forget the girl's name. Hey, It's a Good Life. That's her channel. She's all about doing worm composting. That's who I used to make this the first time, and I'm gonna use that again. So I'm not gonna do that right now, but this is my new and improved 5-gallon worm bucket compost system for worm castings, and yeah, hopefully this works out a lot better this year than it did for last year. Although, hey, it worked. It worked. So now this is the new and improved worm composting system for me. I'll give another update on this probably in another month or two when I actually fill this up with worms and food scraps and all that good stuff. So that's all. I just wanted to show a quick video of how I updated my worm bin, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.